Hello, friends. I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? Hope it's fantastic. Hope everything is great. It's a good day here. It's raining, but a good day. I don't mind the rain. Actually, it was snowing earlier. I love the snow. Yesterday, we talked about Rival Rails version 3. V3. I don't know what that is. That was yesterday, right? I think so. Talked about playtesting it, talked about how I feel that it's going, where it needs to go from here. And I ended up talking a bit about the price should I try to sell it as is at the Game Crafter, where I sell other games of mine. And I said I wasn't comfortable selling it for the price that I would have to sell it for on there. And my boss from my side job chimed in, and he said, "Hey, why not? Why not sell it for $100? Let the market decide if it's worth $100." And I've put a good amount of thought into that. I think if you've been here for any amount of time, you know I have a very difficult time valuating my own creative endeavors. I don't like putting a number on my creativity. I don't like saying that this is worth this and this is worth this. And I usually undersell myself dramatically. I think most of you know that. But in this particular case, I don't think that's what it is. First of all, I want to retract a little bit because, as he pointed out, we continued that conversation, not in the comments here. I wouldn't have to sell it for $100 on the Game Crafter. I could change the components. I could reduce the component prices significantly by cutting out the higher end things like the folding, nice thick board. I could get rid of some of the tokens and replace them with chits. And there are things that I could do to make the game, to hit the $40, $50 price point on the Game Crafter if I wanted to. But I don't want to. I don't want to. For me, I don't want to make an inferior. Not inferior. See, I don't want to make a lower end product just to hit a price point. I want that full feeling for my own prototype, and if I'm going to put the effort into making it, I'm going to make it, right? Like I'm going to do the full thing. And if I'm going to do that, then I don't want to make like a reduced version just because I want to sell it. Okay. So that aside, there are ways to make this game much, much, much cheaper on the Game Crafter. I could produce a version of it that you could buy for very little. But that's not the point. The point of this is, at what point is there a point? And I think that this is going to be a scale for everybody, like based on your income, based on your outgoing money every month. I think there's a different scale at which cost and value combine, right? When the ideal would be to hit that number every time, where I'd say I want to have this and I'm willing to pay this, and I find that thing, and it really does all the things that I want it to do. At some point, though, if the cost gets too high, then the value proposition it needs to deliver more, and if it doesn't, I start to feel maybe not necessarily cheated, but I feel like, man, should I have really bought that when I could have done with something lesser? And that's the lens at which I look through selling my own products. It's like I could feel comfortable selling you this game at $40 or $50, and I wouldn't feel bad if you bought it and you played it and you decided it wasn't for you. But if you paid $100 for it and you bought it and played it and decided it wasn't for you, for me, that would be like, oh man, I can't believe I wasted $100 on this. If I wasted $40 on something and I didn't enjoy it, no big deal. I'll just donate it to the library or whatever. But that number is wildly different for everybody. And I think that's part that I don't tend to recognize. You can go, in the woodworking community, if you go on Reddit or any of the woodworking forums, you'll often find these posts where people will discover that there are companies like Pier 1 Imports and, I don't know, other home decorating companies that are selling like, here's a log and it's $450. Like nobody's done anything to it. It's just a cut piece of log, and it's $450, and that's completely outrageous. But to somebody who has no access to felled trees or tools or whatever, that wants to decorate their home in a rustic manner, maybe that $450 is a perfect value proposition. They go, cool, that's exactly what I want. It's only $450, and they buy it. Whereas if I bought a $450 log, I would feel like I just got duped like nobody's business, right? And I guess it's the same. I need to figure out how to apply that thinking to myself, because I have a very difficult time valuating everything that I do. You know, I've made. I don't have anything here that I could show a good example. I've made. I'll try to put some pictures up. I made some collapsible chairs based on Jay Bates's design templates, and I made them out of white oak, and I've sold quite a few of them for like $200, I think. $200. Yeah. The last pair that I sold two of them for $400 total. If I was being honest with I could not make a living selling those chairs at that price, right? The amount of time that I had invested and the material cost, I should have been selling those chairs for $350 or $400. But I look at it and go, this isn't worth $350 or $400. But I also discount the fact that it's not worth that to me because I can make it. Like, I have the tools and the know-all, I don't have the know-it-all. I have the tools and the wherewithal to make that. So I'm not going to pay $400 for that chair. But somebody who wants that chair and doesn't have that, the shop that I have or the knowledge that I have, maybe that's a great price for them because they're like, cool, this is exactly what I wanted. I'll pay that money. I have to figure that out. I have to figure out how to shift my perspective internally to say my time is worth money, my effort is worth money, and the products that I produce that I stand behind are worth money. Because I'm not going to put it on, I'm not going to put it up for sale unless I believe in it. And if I believe in it, then I should be willing to say it's worth, X amount of dollars, whatever that is, and feel comfortable with that. As of right now, I don't feel comfortable saying that Rival Rails V3 is worth $100. I think it's a $40 tops game in retail. If I were to produce 5,000 units, I could probably produce it for around $6 to $8 a unit. There's not much to it. And, selling it for more than $40 would be crime, in my mind. Granted, selling something on the Game Crafter, I think everybody who purchases games on the Game Crafter understands that these are kind of bespoke, and you're paying for that. You're paying for the fact that I'm not producing 5,000 of a thing, and I think that's fine. But what do you think? Do you measure cost value proposition before you buy things? I know some of you, for instance, Chris I know very well that he hates Harbor Freight tools. I have a lot of them, and I love them. I've never had an issue with any of them. But for Chris, buying the higher dollar, more better quality tool is a better value proposition for him. I'm getting there as I'm no longer poor, but it's taking a while. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know to sound smart is parlance. It is a noun meaning to speak in the vernacular or jargon used by a particular industry, profession, or group. By using the terms discourse, pedagogy, and literary criticism, the professors spoke in the parlance of academia. Parlance, Parlance. I think I knew that, but I also thought that parlance was more like one of those earlier words that we had, palaver. And I don't know why I thought that. I thought it was more like the act of talking, not how you talk.